It's the Really Charlie podcast. Sounds so true. Grab a chair, pour out a glass. Let's break through. Echoes in the room as the stories unfold. Tune in, lean back, let the moments be bold. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie podcast. Tune your ear with each word spoken. We're drawing you near. Yo, it's the Really Charlie podcast. Set your mind free. Diving deep, discover what's meant to be.
Impact design.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, and these are Charlie's Angels. Oh, except Eldric. Hey, everyone, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us on this podcast. We have environmental justice here, and they're on a journey, and their journey has produced a lot of advocacy for the community and trying to make sure things are right on as far as contamination and things like that. So I have them on here, and I truly like this group. They're working hard. They're doing a lot of great things. And we were on a podcast down at the donut shop at Honeydew, and I like to do the podcast from home like this is just so it gives us a little bit more time. So we're not in getting distracted through customers and this Dina. She must have just got done counting her money, man.
I cannot hear. I don't know why.
Took her all day to count her money. So Eldric, is she gonna be a guest or she just viewing it? Because if you want me to take Dina, you here to help us out?
Yes, this is our full resident researcher team, NB resident researcher team.
Yeah, she's on. I can hear you now. Dina, just talk. Yeah. All right, I hear her. All right. So, anyways, everyone, this is the Really Charlie podcast. This is the environment.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
But I cannot hear you.
You can.
Should I log out and log in again?
You could try that, but it's weird. It must be on your end. It's on her end. So. All right. So this crew is I've been impressed with them. I'm so happy that I got introduced to what they're doing through Eldric, and we just crossed paths, and he told me what he was doing, what he was a part of, and I said, well, we gotta help out in any kind of way we can, and so the few podcasts that I'm on, that's the least I can do for you guys. I'm not a millionaire. I wish I had $1 million to give you, and because the work is needed, we can't always count on state and city agencies to give us money all the time. So, but great work. So,
Thank you, John.
yeah. So, Gail, what is your assignment with the environmental justice?
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, my
Yeah.
voice is on. Awesome. Yeah, so I am the site coordinator.
Okay, let me get out and try to log in again.
So I am site coordinator for the community partner of YMCA South Coast. And we had a young lady come down from Boston who just graduated grad school, and that would be one of our leaders for debt. And we had a meeting at the Y for our Voices for a Healthy South Coast, which was a coalition with a lot of other organizations like South Coast Hospital, Mass in Motion, food, people that do food inequity. And that came down, and they had this idea that they were going to do this healthy neighborhood study, and they were looking for community partners in New Bedford, and they identified the why and would we be interested. And I remember that was 2016, and I
Mm.
had two jobs, and I was going to another job, and I said I don't want to leave because this sounds so exciting. And so we were onboarded, and it's been 10 years, and it's been a great ride. And we started, so I'm the site coordinator, and
Mm-hmm.
I do the management between the YMCA, and the fiscal responsibilities. And it was our job to identify some residents in town that we could onboard to be our resident researchers, because the Conservation Law Foundation and the Healthy Neighborhood Study motto is you really need to get the people that are affected by a problem. Us as institutions would not be the ones to make the solution. It has to come from the people that are affected by it. And we've had that for the 10 years, and we are the first organization, our first initiative, that we just really listen to the people and their problems and what their solutions were. So that's what
Mm.
I do, and I've been friends with Eldric and Dina for the whole time, and then of course Karen has become a friend. And not only are they my resident researchers, but we're almost like a family.
That's good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Gail is a resident Creola. We've initiated her into it. She's Cape Verdean, and there's nothing she can do about it.
Yeah.
and and we all love her. I mean, she's great. I've never seen anybody work so hard for an area that's not even her community. So I know that she loves what she's doing.
And the
Yeah.
people I work with too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Um. Eldrick, I see it. I see when you're at work, you're doing your thing. You're very sincere about it, and compassionate about it. So, um, what drew you there? How'd you get introduced to all this?
So this was a great opportunity for me. Invited by Gail and Dina around 2019. I had an opportunity while I was getting involved volunteering in the community to get involved with the Healthy Neighborhood Study as a resident researcher. And we were doing our surveys in the community. And as we were learning a little bit more about the gentrification that was coming up in the community, trying to figure out some of the issues and create some action pilot projects to take on, and was a learning experience at first,
Mm-hmm.
and then became a uh, something I didn't think I was going to be as passionate about that as it grew. It became very personal to me, being out of the city I was born and raised out of, especially getting to learn. We had gathered a lot of data over the past 10 years, but being able to compare this data, I think, between different neighborhoods in my own community, and seeing some of those changes and effects and what needed to be taken action, really ignited my flame that I've had in public service and my passion for it as well. And like Gail had mentioned in the beginning there, one emphasis that we had from the beginning was the PAR method, which was a participatory action research method, had really built and grew into a lot of way that I guide and lead some of my civic engagement now, that at times when I go to different tables and we're speaking on, I think, different community issues, when something comes to mind, I could think more kind of easily brainstorm an idea, and some people will be like, "Oh, where did you get that idea?" And I'm like, "Well, this is some great information that people in the community have been speaking on for years, and the people that are affected by it and living in these issues are, constantly dealing with it on a daily basis. So this isn't just something they would do as a project, but do with passion to want to change their lives and see the lives of their family members change as well in future generations. And that brought on some real passion on the health and neighborhood study, and is where I continued to work in the community with my civic engagement.
Awesome. That's awesome. We're gonna bring Karen over to the stage over here. Dina keeps popping in and out. Yeah,
She'll get there.
yeah. So there
Well,
we
Gail
go.
and I met through, and I don't want to throw Gail under the bus, but
I cannot hear you guys.
oh, I don't know what's going on, Dina.
Yeah.
Gail and I met through in the Whaling Museum, probably in 2023 or 2024. I'm not exactly sure. And because I had told her that I live in South Central neighborhood, and that's home, and that's always been my home for the most part. I'd say 90% of my age of the time I've been on my own that's been my neighborhood, whether it was when I was growing up or later on as a young mother and whatnot. So I met I met her then, and she said, "Oh, are you interested in adding your voice or your opinion to the healthy neighborhood study?" And what was funny was that I hadn't heard of it. I had been so isolated during COVID, I didn't get COVID, but there were some health issues that I was dealing with for a long time. Actually, I still am, but I'm with it. It's fine. And so I wasn't aware of what was going on within the community. But as soon as she said, we'd like your perspective on things, and me being the elder of the group, I thought I definitely know I have opinions to share.
Yep.
And I thought I might have some wisdom or some, feedback with regard to that. So I said, yeah, so when we met at the Y, she introduced herself and we hugged and whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to invite you over to my house and come over here. First thing I told her, this house that I live in used to be the bomb shelter. This was the heart of the community, and it no longer is. But when I moved here, when I won the, I don't know if it was a raffle. It wasn't really a raffle. I can't remember what the exact thing was. It was supposed to have been
a lottery.
A lottery, thank you.
Yep.
It was supposed to have been to draw a name out of a hat of all of the qualified people. And out of 30-something people, I was the only one that was qualified. And so they were trying to, that was awesome, but they were trying to say, oh, no, we have to do it again. I said, oh, hell no. Excuse me, I don't know if I can say that. But I said, no, I just won. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is, my credit score and whatever else. And so they thought about it, but they knew that I wasn't going to let it go. As like a dog with a bone in its mouth, and I'm not going to let it go. I'm not just going to let you slide and say, no, you're going to take this house away from me. I went through the whole process and whatever, and I beat everybody out. What else do you want me to say? So
exactly,
that happened. And then I told Gail about the bomb shelter, showed her my basement, which of course is what everybody asked me. You're going to open the bomb shelter again? And I'm like, oh, no, that's not happening. I used to go to the bomb shelter. I remember the noise and all the people and whatever. I said, I can't imagine doing that now in my senior years, having to, regulate all of that and whatever. But, it's a landmark.
You're
And
right, Karen.
and I actually do have a plaque, which I haven't put up on the house yet because I'm waiting for winter to be over. But I'll get it later on and show it. But it's a plaque that was also through the Healthy Neighborhood Study and CLF in Boston and everybody else that allowed me and Gail to get that put together, saying that this is the house of the former bomb shelter. And I'm just trying to decide where it's going to go. I'm afraid if I put it in the front yard, it might disappear, unfortunately. I mean, I'm realistic about my neighborhood. So I'd like to have it installed on the house, once I can get siding cleaned off and whatnot after whenever winter ends, and I can get that up and frame it and put it up by the front door, I suppose. But I love this program that for the past whatever it's been 3.5 years or something like that. That I've been involved in it. And like I said, I really am in many, many ways the elder, because I can remember back in the late 50s or early 60s and, what things were like and whatnot. So I didn't realize that I had that much to contribute, but I know that I'm very opinionated. So, that doesn't come as a surprise to most people.
No, that's needed. That's needed. It has to, you just don't want things to, opinions is you have enough life skills to bring that opinion forward, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, I
and and
definitely
to
feel that.
respect that, and so um everyone, I'm just trying to wait until Dina settles down before I put her down because she's
Hey,
moving
Creola.
around. She's moving around, and I don't want to get feedback on it. You all set, Dina? All right, here we go. All right, all right.
Oh, wait.
So
Hey, Dills.
this is what I truly like about the group is that you guys are connected and collaborating with some good results, right? Um,
And we're
and
very good friends, all of us. We respect each other. Yeah,
that's the best part of it, because then
yeah.
you build up, and somebody has some feedback. I don't know if you have a phone on or something. Just turn the volume off or down. Um, the being friends, you can be sincere about it. You definitely know,
Let me
um,
see.
and it becomes a whole lot easier. Like with the New Bedford Historic Society, we're all friends. So when we're trying to do things, we it's uh it's easier. It's like I could say, all right, this is right up the alley for me to do. Maybe someone else should take this on because of it should come from more of a woman. Should give their output on this issue. So I like the fact that you guys are all friends and working together. Um, I want to talk about the brainstorm about the book and how that came about.
Which book?
The book that well, we'll talk about the bomb shelter. But I want to talk about the one with
Environmental
the
justice journey.
environmental
Yeah,
justice, and then we'll come back to Karen and talk about the bomb shelter book. All right.
sure.
Hold on. Here we go.
Yes, and I think that's where we could start off as one of our most important steps whenever we were conducting our action projects in this our healthy neighborhood study was identifying the issue in collecting the information and being able to share that with community members. And we had a great opportunity holding some environmental justice journey walking tours that had the support of Honeydew as well for some of our tour attendees that came, especially during the warmer weather. We were hosting them for 8 months from March 2025 to through October of 2025, and had engaged with over 80 residents within the community. And we were speaking on the two environmental sites, the New Bedford Harbor and the Old Morris Cutting Tool site, and educating about some of the work that had led to the contamination of those two sites, as well as
Hmm.
the efforts that the city, the state, and EPA has been putting in for the past 30 years on these two sites, as well as they're both some active projects within a 15-minute walking distance. We were able to help the city last year with their questionnaires and get some results back on what they would like to see for the repurposement of the old Morris Cutting Tool site off of Pleasant and Purchase Street. And while we were able to conduct, we were at first starting the walking tours on a monthly basis. Then they started becoming on a weekly basis because they were getting some really great feedback and engagement, as well as we were getting a lot of different people in the community, different organizations that were coming and attending, as well as sharing some great information. So I think everything that towards the end of the walk, we realized we had a little bit of a reflection piece towards the
Hmm.
end, but it was a learning experience for everyone involved, and including us as well. We were doing a lot of the research and data to share with the community, but a lot of the elders or the people that have lived in the community were sharing us some information, that weren't documented or
Hmm.
were not some things that you wouldn't be able to find online or in a book, and we thought were very, very critical and vital to the neighborhood and its history, as well as the people that are being affected by these environmental changes. And we were able to realize towards the end of the walking tours, we were engaging with large different groups. We were getting some residents from Fairhaven and audiences of all different ages and different diverse audiences, which was really great. And lady had came once with her grandson, and we were sharing a lot of the great information. And this was actually a neighborhood that I was born and raised in. And I was like, one thing that really I touched base was I would walk by the old Morris cutting tool site and see it fenced up, but have no um, idea why it was fenced up, no
Hmm.
history behind that, and something that maybe if you're not involved in that field or interested in that area, you wouldn't even probably know. And that's something that I thought we had a great opportunity sharing it with a lot of the adults and residents in the community, but we wanted to engage with more of the youth in the community, especially knowing that they're going to be the next generation um, dealing with a lot of these issues, but also solving and attacking these issues, and
Yeah,
especially
you gotta.
with climate change.
I'm glad you included the youth because some of they may underestimate, the contamination and what's going on there, uh,
They
and
might
but
just be
the
completely unaware.
yeah, and especially with the craziest thing is that those buildings were something that us kids in the neighborhood we we'd love those buildings only because we seen people coming out of it. We seen the men, the very few women coming in and out of there, and they were pretty nice to us,
Yeah.
and it was nice that we could get over the fence sometimes if we wanted to play some baseball, football. We can play in the lots and do all that things. And then it was really crazy when we were walking by and we look up at the windows and we may see someone from the neighborhood. For one, I always knew where a friend of my godmother's husband was. It was Dwayne Duat. He was always in the corner, like at Pleasant and Bedford Street. And so if me and my brother were walking by, if that window was open, we can yell his name. He come popping his head through and say hello to us. And the craziest thing is that when I said I was later on in my life, I had went into law enforcement, and some of my bosses actually worked in that building. So when we sat down and we talked about the building, and they used to say what door they used to come out, and I would say, well, I was usually one of the kids that were over here. And he's saying, yeah, we used to talk to those kids all the time. And I found out that one of the good guys, believe it or not, ended up being one of my bosses later on, and he worked right there. And I got one small story. So craziest thing, just before Morse shut down, and we didn't know it was going to shut down, but I applied for a job there. I wanted to work there, and And then there was another guy that later ended up being my friend. So he walks in and he ends up getting a job, right? And then months later, I end up going to the police station and I got that
Oh,
job. So, and then years later, that same kid ended up coming on the police force, but I had tons of
oh,
seniority. But what I'm getting at is that was his path to go that direction. My
mhm.
path was to go to the police station. And what happened is I ended up getting a lot more seniority, more experience, and I end up training him. So he had the advantage with the Morse cutting tools. They gave him the job. But then when later on he came to the police force, and I was actually helping him out. And we talked about it. And the craziest thing is that we end up riding by the building when it was closed down. And I would say, "Hey, I tried to get a job there," and then he said it. And so we picked it apart and we figured out the timeline. And we said, "Oh, that was you." And we looked a whole lot different, but it was like crazy. So that's my attachment to Morse cutting tools, along with living in the neighborhood. And I just think that I missed the building, but I'm so glad it's gone. I'm so glad. Um, all right,
Yeah, and
Karen.
honestly, I think that's a great point too. That sometimes we would hear from a lot of the more I got an opportunity to learn um about this, and especially engage with some of the elders in the community, is that this was a great opportunity and during its time, a industrial industry that was open for over 90 years, producing jobs for a lot of people in the community. And we can see places all over the city that, and during the 80s and 70s, that we had a lot of industrial mills that were part of New Bedford's economic success, but we're very unaware that some of the toxins and chemicals that were
Mhm.
being used there and the harmful effects that they were causing the people in there working there, but people living in those neighborhoods as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
knowledge that
remember I
yeah, that
remember that it was nationally known. This city was nationally known as far as one of the highest hazardous or contaminated areas in the country. So
Oh,
I want to say article is probably in 1990, maybe right around there.
yeah,
They
I
were
was just gonna
talking
say that,
about it.
Kelly. I think it wasn't until the 90s, but, if you think about some of the younger children like myself, I was born in '54, and I was living on, Pleasant, not exactly on Pleasant and Grinnell, but one house, up on Pleasant Street.
Yep.
And you know and by 1958 I was there, and so that was a common place. I was just one block up the street from me. You could walk up the street
Mhm.
and on your way to downtown, you got the two buildings on either side, and
Yep.
that bridge the two
The
buildings, whatever, and
bridge over.
everybody
Yep.
place. Yeah, and I remember the weeping wall. I remember touching it every single time I went by.
Hmm. Yeah.
What kind of toxins was I
It,
putting on my hands,
Playing.
possibly bringing home and whatnot? Not to mention that I've said this a few times to Gail and Dina and Eldric, that I think I became asthmatic because after my mother died and I was living in the Bay Village, my father sent me to live there on Pleasant Street, which was even closer than I was in the Bay Village, which was right down the street from where I am now. And I think I became asthmatic, over a
Mm.
gradual, you know, by the time I was in my teens or something like that, I was really like,
Yeah. Yep.
but that smoke was there 24/7. That was a 24/7 operation for as long as I could remember.
Yeah. We had it
yeah,
was
and
constant. You had to.
and honestly, that's exactly some of the information that with the establishment of the Environmental Protection Agency within in the 80s and the EPA, we now have the data that can connect that and make some of those connections and put that proof. One thing we were able to see when we were collecting that data and creating our story map is that, the New Bedford, out of all places in Bristol County in Massachusetts, has a higher asthmatic rate. And when you see it on different maps, you'll see it's usually next to the waterfront. But also, our Superfund site was
Mhm.
the largest waterfront,
In the country?
marine Superfront
Yeah,
waterfront, yeah, in the country.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wow. So how many people has this been affecting? And that's kind of like where we wanted to bring it now into an aspect for children with the books. We decided to tell that story and how it was affecting marine life as well, and engage and catch their attention a little and tell this story and this characteristics from a animal perspective. And it's been actually a really great and engaging piece, since a lot of the students that we've read this to, we've read from ages from preschool all the way up to middle school, and going to be working on some high schools. I've been really engaged from learning on how the environmental pollution and climate change has been affecting these animals in their neighborhoods, but have been really in touch and I think touched by that these are local animals in a local story about their local community, and that they can make that relation. We've had a few young kids mention, "Oh, if there's another book, I'd love to be a character in it," or "I'd love to be
All right, good.
here if it's in part of our neighborhood." And I'm like, well, there's plenty of other locations in the community that can still be identified and worked on. And that's what we
Sure.
wanted to make sure that we highlighted with this project, that a lot of great work has been done by the city and the state and the EPA on this cleanup, but this work is not done. And there's still a lot more action that needs to be taken. And that's not just here in the south central part of New Bedford, but that's in all different parts of New Bedford. That can be from the north end to the Riverside area, to the west end to the old Parker Street dumping area, and a lot of great
Well,
opportunities that can also connect to kind of where Karen had mentioned. Now you can see a lot of lower income or minorities have lived there, but the have been living in generations of places that we know cause health conditions and different health issues, and have a lower higher rate of getting some health complications, whether it's respiratory issues, whether it's CPOD, whether it's cancer, and different things like that. And we've, I think, been on the aspect, or like I was just mentioning to a friend, like, global warming has been here for 15 plus years. We've seen
Yeah.
environmental injustice, and we know that about how the pollution is affecting us. But have we really spoken on the aspect of how this is affecting the life expectancy of the people living in these neighborhoods? And I think that's one of the main points that we, as a resident researcher team, but also our healthy neighborhood study, wanted to make sure we shared, touched, and let know that this could be a very useful resource to not only engage people in the community, hear some of their feedback, see what they think still needs to be touched up on that maybe hasn't been, but as well as getting them more engaged and involved. We've, since we first started with our first reading, which was in collaboration with the Cape Verdean Association, at the um church on Sussex Street. I'm gonna have a brain fart right now.
well away. Well away.
OLOA. Yes, we have kind of just had a trickling effect with some, whether it's youth based organizations or organizations based around environmental science or environmental justice, because they have loved the way this has engaged with the community, the information that it's shared, and I love whenever we share it, we're getting constant compliments on the illustrations from our two illustrators, Karen and Gail. And I'm like, well, we wanted to make this a creative way to share some educational information to youth in the community, and it's been a great success.
Yeah, yes. Let's see. Something I wanted to bring up here. Um, let's see. Let's go back to Gail for 1 second here. All right.
I don't know if you're talking, Charlie. I can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
What happened?
I
I don't
I
know.
can I can hear him, but I can hear you guys too. So maybe
I can hear
Eldric.
you, Karen, but I can't hear Gail or Charlie.
Oh, that's
That's
weird.
great.
It's probably because
Yeah,
I'm.
that is weird. Let me just check all these Y's. That's crazy. Um, Gail, the when it came to the book, how that how that get approved?
Yeah. So, well, I'll
Hold
just
on, let me
to
see.
get to how did the book get approved. So, what we would do is, with the research we did community surveys, and then we had it disseminated by MIT, and then we would always report back to the community and with the action plans. And the action plans are created so that the research we did doesn't simply get extracted from a neighborhood, but it instead invests knowledge back into the neighborhood. So we had done a couple of action plans, and we were in a meeting with our liaison Chanel from Conservation Law Foundation, and we did these tours, and we were gathering a lot of information that we were getting more from the community about people coming on the tours and giving us information. Oh, I used to crawl on those pile of rocks or bricks when they brought down one building.
Yep.
And we were
Hmm.
just amazed at that. So the Chanel said to us, well, we've done these tours. Now, what can we take this information we learned, the history and the lessons learned in the community, and maybe we could write, uh, a children's book on the environmental justice. So we had done the bomb book already, so we were well aware of the process. And Karen, not sure if you were in that meeting, but we all said, "Oh, that's a great idea." And then Eldric wrote it, and then Karen and I separated, and we started developing the characters, the animals, and of course with the YMCA, I was sort of working in my own lane. I had been doing this work for over 10 years, so I would just get them updated on what we were doing and let them know. But so they were definitely okay with it, because we would definitely have contracts we would sign every couple of years, and we would be onboarding, and the Y would be responsible to help us carry through those actions. And it took so long that we didn't anticipate it to take as long as it did. We started in August, Karen.
Yeah.
And Eldric maybe wrote the book in July, and we just put it to print.
Not that long ago.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Hmm.
So it took many, many months, believe it or not.
A whole
Little
lot of.
tweaking, and just, a lot of eyes on the book. Well, we can change this, we add this. And so it was already going to be approved. It had to be the right form of itself, and finally we were able to do that. And It's always fun for me to do the action plans because
Yeah, they're exciting.
yeah, and when we think about, you know, art as community documentation, when we did the Bisca mural, we
Mm.
didn't paint it ourselves, but we worked with Superflats to pool our money together. But we had our little components of things we wanted to be in the Bisca mural, like the vote button. That was one of the data we collected that year, that no, people don't civically engage and they don't vote. So, but just this idea of taking art and making it a documentation of the neighborhood, um, is it's just, you know, it's interpreting the story of their own neighborhood and taking knowledge into action.
It's
This was just
empowering the neighborhood.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, most
Um,
definitely. It makes you
did-
feel this. It makes you feel some kind of way just by saying it that way. It makes you feel some kind of way when
Yeah.
you walk past that mural and you know who it's representing. I mean, this has been a Cape Verdean neighborhood for as long as I've known, and my parents before that, and my grandparents before that. They came here at the turn of the 19th century, in the late 1800s into the early 1900s. So we're talking a good amount of time. That people have lived, especially of Cape Verdean descent, but there were also other people here as well. Obviously, I mean, we had Native people here and many other ethnicities. But these neighborhoods were meant for the quote unquote minority, and
Mm,
so we needed that recognition. We needed to
yeah.
feel good about ourselves,
Yeah.
and we always will. I mean, all neighborhoods need that. We need to have that kind of feeling like, okay, we've done something good here, or
Mm.
we are really good people, and just pay attention to us because wouldn't it be nice, kind of thing. So
And one thing I wanted to say, Charlie, once we got it to draft form, it just at CLF it took off. Like everybody's like, they started giving us like more funding for more books.
mhm.
Like, and we were like, great, because we could use it. And it
Yeah.
was really it was going in the thousands of dollars that we just created something, and then the funding came, and those books will go in the library and the YMCA child care center, because those kids recognize all the symbols in that book. And oh, I just get goosebumps. But
yeah,
anyway.
I did too.
The craziest thing is, as you guys read that book, right, Eldrick, reading the book, what's going to happen
I
is
can't hear
now.
Charlie now.
You
Charlie.
can't hear me.
Let's see. I think he got the message. Okay.
Yeah, I had to sign out and sign back in to hear him.
Okay. The
Oh, so you can hear him?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'll let
The
you lead because I can't hear him. I may have to pop off and then pop in again, I guess.
Oh, that's weird. The thing is
And Eldrick, can you tell him that we can't hear?
Yeah, I can hear him. I think he could hear you. We could hear you.
You can't hear
yeah.
him.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
and should just pop off and sign in again. Is that
Yeah, maybe just pop off and sign in
okay?
real quick. Sorry, Charlie.
That's all right. The what happens is that now that Eldrick, now that you're reading to these kids, what's going to happen is probably about 6, 7 years from now, one of those kids are going to approach you and said, "Hey, I remember when you read for me when I was a kid, and
Maybe
we were
he'll be
reading
mayor
the
by then.
what's that?
I said maybe he'll be mayor by then.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I don't have any.
That's
I don't
right.
have any doubts when it comes to Eldrick. I think he's
Campaign
the
hard for
sky's
him.
the limit.
Um,
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
The
Sorry, Charlie.
no problem. Um, Karen, let's talk about the book, The Bomb, and you know what I like about it is that the history that's in there and the pictures that are in there is
Hmm.
so important for people to see. And now that it's created and it has its book cover,
You want me to
We
get
looked
it?
at-
I didn't bring it. I can just run it quickly and I can show it on screen.
All right. So the amazing thing is, there's some people in that book are okay, Gail. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm back in. I'm all good. Thank you.
All right. So we're talking about Karen's book, and
I don't know if we
so
can get it close.
the yeah. So the the one thing about that book is, and looking at it,
Yeah.
some of the people that are in the book are now gone. They're no
Absolutely.
longer with us, and
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's how important that book is, because
It's very important. It's at the New Bedford Library.
yeah.
It's in
So
in DC too. Part of the Black History
Yeah.
the African American Museum.
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it was distributed a lot of ways. And his Nene.
Yeah. See that?
Nene. Can you see
So
that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
trying to get an interview with Mr. Pina, Frank Pina.
Oh yeah.
I just want to talk to him, and
He was a great help as well.
yeah, and it's he's just a dear friend of mine, and so now that I, I just want to get capture some sound and video of him
Yeah.
talking about things
He's a
like the bomb
great
shelter.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we got about
So
5 minutes.
when I had
So
mentioned okay. When I had mentioned to Gail that this was the bomb shelter, and I had also said at the same time that we also had the Crystal Cafe, we also have the Cape Verdean band club, as well as the Verdean Vets, and whatever the band club, and going down to United Social and whatever. We had so many places where people could gather together and dance and see one another and socialize and whatever, and that's practically gone. And it feels so very different now. And so
People that she has been working with.
what's that?
Turned out.
Okay, I can say something. So yeah, I thought that it would be nice to capture it. So we actually had an open house down in my basement. What year was that, Gail? 23, 20?
The 2023, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, 2023.
We had been working on that for a while, and we just had like an open house, people to come down and whatever, because I had told her everybody wants me to open the bomb shelter again. Doing that, I said I told her that I felt ashamed that I was one of the people that frequented that place and didn't even think about the people that lived here. So, so I said, now that I'm living here and my son Mason lives downstairs, I'm like, no, that's
Yep.
not gonna happen. I don't have the savvy for that anyway, all the money. But the idea is wonderful, because this community is hurting for that. We don't have much of that anymore. There was such camaraderie over the weekends and during parade day and all that other stuff. I mean, it used to be the 3-day affair, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during the week of Cape Verdean independence and whatnot. So yeah, it's changed a lot. So I'm glad that we captured it, because it's a wonderful book, and it's very personal to a lot of the families here in this city, whether they're it's another generation or whatever, but they can look through it and go, whoa. And Lee Bennett, God rest her soul, she came up with so many photos. There's so many.
Yeah.
She was just so willing and helpful to just help us. And she brought photographs over here to my house, and we looked through them. She must have had like 600 photos, and we're like, well, we can't use all of those, but we do have quite a few in the book, But Lee, Lee's been a stand-up person in the community for many, many, many years, and everybody knew her and loved her. She worked here. She's, how could we not include her in that? So all our thanks went to her, most definitely.
I I talked to Lee probably 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
maybe, and I had I said, Lee, I want to write a book about you. I want to write a story,
Yeah.
and and so she was like, I don't know, and I says, I got a perfect story, and she just wasn't having it. I said, okay. I said, well, I'm gonna go forward with it, right? But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna talk about you. But the title of the book was called Lucky Lady. And and the reason and for all the reason everyone was going for, Lucky Lady. That's the way I called it. That's what I called it. And I ended up doing it, but I never marketed it. I just put it out there, right? And so I knew what I wanted to do, but I just didn't have a lot of time. So I used a lot of AI and it came up with some stories. And so I was very happy. And so till this day I still haven't got the book in my hand, but it's out there. And it talks about New Bedford and different things in the
Yeah.
community. But there's twists and turns. You want to glamour it up as much as
Nice.
we know. As much as we know, like you know, Karen knows stories. I know stories. We all know stories that to make it just like TV, we can easily do that. So,
Yeah.
but I didn't have the time, and I don't think people would have been happy if I was mentioning names. So I ended up just letting it letting it go and run, and I end up liking the story. I said, "Oh my god!" So but she wouldn't give me the okay, and I try to like one of my brothers is her nephew, so
Yeah.
I try to get my brother, hey, convince your aunt so I can write this book, convince her, because she was one of his favorites. So, but she wasn't budging, and but if I sat down with her and I let her tell me stories, oh my God, some amazing stories. It was
Oh God.
yeah,
Yeah. She saw it
so,
all. She
yeah,
knew
she
it
did.
all. She saw it all.
Hmm.
And she was a big, big part of this community, and she is very much missed. I was
Yeah,
very
so
sorry to
much.
hear of her passing. I'm just not a funeral and wake person, so
Yeah,
I
I,
said my
I,
thoughts to her in a different way, but
hmm
I hope that she knew how thankful we were for her contributions. And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that she did because we spent a lot of time with her, and
hmm
she told us stories herself. She had her own stories to tell, and we didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that from my own perspective because, of course, I was there, dancing and whatever else, listening, playing
hmm
the Creole music or whatever music that we were listening to. But she was paying attention. I mean, she got to see everybody and chat
yeah.
with everybody behind the bar, So yeah, she was a sweetheart. She really was. I think this city really misses her a great deal. I
So
said,
true, so
yeah,
true. Um, all right, everyone. I hope I did you some justice. I have another. I have to go on TikTok. I have something else I got to do too. So but I hope that I've done you guys some justice for all the hard work that you have done. With both books, with the organization, and with your friendship.
Mhm.
Friendships are very very essential now, and you guys have a great friendship, and keep it going because believe it or not, your friendship has uh, been essential to this project and to everything that you're doing. So I
thank you.
appreciate it, especially being a Bay Village kid. I really truly appreciate you guys and what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
an
you.
old Bay
Thank you.
Village kid, way back in the '50s, but I was only there for a few years. But it's just
It's all the same.
my hood.
The bricks never change. The only thing that changed in the Bay Village is the windows and doors.
Hmm.
You know.
Just about every
So
member of my family lived there, and a
yeah.
lot of my friends. Monty's
So
Park, all the way down. So
I
thank you.
think this is just a perfect example of the unity in this community.
that we
Hmm.
can
Fine.
stick together.
Yeah.
It is.
And
It
having
is.
a opportunity now to be able to work with and collaborate and be friends with some people that I would have been looking up to as some mentors and getting a chance to meet you, Charlie, as
Hmm.
SRO in elementary school.
Yep.
Karen being my librarian, I say, of the community, giving me some experience dating back to before even my family had got an opportunity to come, which I'm very thankful for. And Gail has really helped me in so many different ways, and it's been like she said, more than just a friendship. This is a family. I hope we can continue to grow that with some others as well. And thank
Yes.
you,
And
Charlie.
I'll definitely I'll reach out to Dina and because I know the knowledge that she brings to the table, and it's
Mm.
unfortunate that we couldn't get her here, but maybe a quick video, her and I,
Yeah, that'd be
and,
nice.
and just talking with her about almost anything. She deserves her own podcast anyway,
Yeah.
so I think I'll set that up where
And remember, she's the flamingo in the book.
yeah, well
So you're right. She does deserve that.
we're gonna have Eldric bring his laptop to her house,
Okay.
and then y'all gonna sign her
And
on
no
the
problem.
podcast
Yeah,
and
it's
be her.
funny 'cause it worked out that we all contributed different aspects of ourselves to
Hmm.
this whole, you know,
No, it's
Project and book.
project. Thank you. Yeah, and it just was in sync. You know, we were all in
Yeah.
sync,
yep.
and so it was. This has been great. I'm really kind of sad that it's ending for us. And I'm Eldrick. I'm sure you're planning on returning to the justice journeys. So
Yeah.
now that my back is better, I hope to be
Hmm.
Yeah.
there often.
Yeah, we gotta
Will be.
Getting old. I'm almost 72.
we
Like
gotta
Mhm.
keep you strong and healthy.
I'm trying.
Yeah, 5 stars top to bottom. You guys are great, and the Really Charlie podcast is yours. So as you're doing different projects or getting involved with many many things that you guys are involved in, whether it's together or another group or an agency, whatever, just get a hold of me and I'll gladly do something. Cape Verdean Association in Connecticut, they just got in touch with me. We're going to do
Ooh.
a podcast soon
Nice.
to advertise about the Cape Verdean soccer team that's coming, and there's a gala that's
Ooh.
coming. So we're going to bring that to the forefront,
Great.
and I hope a lot of people go to that event. And it's going to be at the Venus de Milo, I guess, in June, but they start selling tickets at the end of this month. Um,
Excellent.
so, all right, everyone, I appreciate you. God bless. And you need me, give me a holler. And
Awesome.
everyone else,
Well,
please like and
we
subscribe.
engage.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And thanks,
Thank
everyone
you,
watching. Have a
Charlie.
great
Thank you.
evening.
All right. You guys
Okay.
are great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, everyone. That's environmental justice. That crew is amazing. Definitely 5 stars for everything that they're doing. I truly, truly appreciate it. I want to say hello to Michael Sameo. I seen you in the comment section. Thank you for joining us. Everyone on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and later on we will add this episode to Substack. So I truly, truly appreciate you. And well, I'm gonna end this show, but I gotta go to TikTok. So I'm going to TikTok in a few minutes. I'll be on TikTok live about 8:30. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. God bless.